Hi everyone, this is Starseed Lolo, and I have a special guest for us today. This is my really good friend, author, Marci Kosich. Marci, if you
Hey
want
everyone,
to introduce yourself.
I am Marci.
Short and sweet.
I have many different names: Cosmic, Lorana.
So, do you want to talk a little bit about your background, Marci?
Yeah. Um. When I was about 18, I saw my first spirit. Then, when my great aunt died, I went over to San Francisco with a my back, and since then, my we started the telepathy. My other friend we worked with. And since then, I've had masters, I've had experiences, clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience. When I was 25, someone did a sound healing, and I worked on arena about 15 years ago, and I started practicing doing tone, which is high frequency sound Reiki. So I call myself a sound Reiki alchemist, where through channeling through Abby, when I was on the radio, she started channeling Elohim. And Elohim came through a full mediumship, and they said, we'd like to do because they're trying to get different groups together. The microphone would start making noises, so I had to switch to a headset, and through the sound, I asked them one time, what do the sounds do? They started uh, with workers. The minimum is 110 of frequency that they have environment, you go out and then you can actually feel the energy of the earth and the vibration. So I was a breakthrough book, and that's why I met Laura, because we were writing a book, and Laura had connected ever since.
Yeah, that's right. So, with the tones, when did you actually start doing your tones, or when did you realize you could actually do them? And what are they?
The sound, this tone hits a certain part of the brain, and they did tests on 8 where when one is 13 hertz, it hits in, it relaxes the body. And so I started on a radar, which is an international sky cycle company. I did that for a couple of years. And people say my shoulders are feeling relaxed. I'm feeling relaxed. One person had a heart problem and they didn't tell me. And they said they went off to America to LA. They said I was wrong. And so I have been working on, including Laura, many different people, and they'll feel relaxed. It, we have a carbon-based energy, which is fear, shame, guilt, which is a lower energy, work out with the tones, or the sound frequency, or the binaural. It is switched into crystal energy. It releases past lives. It doesn't go here. So a lot of times we have these energies that we will literally say I'm fine, in which we're not, and people get diseases because of it.
So, would you like to show us some of your
I
tones?
see the
Are you
shows.
ready to?
I also channel actors. They come into the tones with a high frequency. And so my clairaudience, my clairvoyance, my clairsentient, I go to town when I was doing au pair when I was 21. They said I do psychokinesis. And I said, what's that? They said, moving in current energy. So it's emotional psychological journey for the last 40 years. I've done readings on telegraphy. I've done it on radio shows. I've been hosting radio shows. And people all have an animal's level of tones. They can hear it in certain levels that we can hear because if we have the ultrasound, which is 17 hertz, which is sounds and spirits that people can't hear, but they are. So I'm going to listen to them. So we have the different masters that come through for channel lines. I met some women out in Africa. I've been a medicine man. Little gray cloud, which is to transfer the energy. But I know Buddha's coming through because as we raise our frequency, we get higher and higher guides and masters.
That's amazing. It reminds me of a monk.
Well, more than have a discussion with our monks together. We had the full connection with picking up past life. Um, I know a number of Richmond said no connection cosmos. I get started on this one on you.
As far as your tones, do animals react to them?
Yes, I even actually have a video where I live in Reno. When I was working for mentally challenged people, we went to see the wild horses, and I had a video where the horses were listening. Or I talked to somebody that was in India, the birds chirped. Animals come up to me. I have one friend that had a dog that was a rescue dog, and he would come in and put his paw on my mouth for me to come to the tones.
Oh, that's interesting. Um, what other applications can you use other than healing? Does it help with channeling or remembering parallel lives?
Well, as they talk about dimensions, as we clear out our energies and our vibrations, our dimensions open up a portal that are going in. So, like a friend of mine about a week ago, I was watching TV and she's like, Marci, she thought I was my show last Tuesday. She goes, you came in and you were talking about other people. I said, you jumped timeline. So a lot of times we can jump energies. I have PWs a lot of times where I did the or a it was like I had a Maria and I was aware
You're going out a little bit, Marci.
I know. It was like how the direction you change your audio speaker to do the astral level, not to the physical. You know, and then chow. And it was funny because it was like when I do healing, he would start licking my face like it was his mission to clean my face. My other ones would sit on my lap. They do sense and they do hear levels that we can't hear. They can smell things we can't smell.
Has an animal ever given you a warning?
What?
Has an animal ever given you a warning?
There was a situation one time where I had a friend of mine named Bear, and he was American Indian and he was black. And he gave me this necklace one time. He says, when you're in danger, it'll make a sound. And it was really weird because this necklace made like a wolf sound. So I've had my car teleported. animals would come up. I had one beagle when I was in Spokane that never sang, and I started doing tones, and it started singing along with it. The most hysterical sight. So they do sense, and they can smell danger. They can smell negative people. You've just got to watch the animals and know levels. They're either the hunter or the hunted.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I just had deja vu.
I'm not surprised, Laura. The more deja vus we have, the more we're on the right track.
So is there any advice you can give people to help heal themselves?
You can do sounds on yourself. I have my YouTube channel under Marci Kosich people are addicted to, where people feel reluctant to. And I'm doing a new thing called tonography, where I'm doing short videos with tones. I have it with the horses. I have it with different nature. We can do grounding on your feet. We have the pineal gland, which is like our third eye. But when we turn the light off, we're supposed to go to day to night. So I'll do things like called rebirthing, where I'll turn the lights off and your third eye opens up more at nighttime.
Oh, I love your video with the horses. I'll have Marci's YouTube channel in the description too.
Yeah, and like I said, I was on Arenum. I've been coast on many shows. I've been a guest on many shows. I've had it where one person I did a radio show with, I told them that the sound breaks up. And they said those are people's emotions. She's the one that said I do sound Reiki. So
sound Reiki, that's interesting.
Is binaural where there's two different decibels or hertzes that are going in your ear, like 10 degrees difference. Sometimes I'll do it like 3 sounds. At that point I was working, but I just had my phone, so I just decided to experiment. You can see the ears going back on them. They were listening. I was circling around them. I'll do it with birds. I'll do it with animals. I get more spiritual visions on animals or totems. Like last week I had a bear come in my spirit, or I had snakes. As I progress, we have many different animal totems that will visually come to us. So, I think depending on what my progression or my change or my transition is, different animals contact me. But in my past life, I was called Little Gray Cloud, which 2 of my friends did channel drawings with. And the jaguar is my animal totem, which transmutes energy. Little Gray Cloud, from what I got, was being another lifetime where I was a medicine. I was also through channel drawing when I was in Spokane. My friend Suzanne did a lot of channel drawings, which whipped them out. And I was White Eagle in the channel drawing. She said I was a chief among 12 chiefs, which is like for justice, intelligence. And I think that now it's like I'm doing the 12 among 12 chiefs. I think Laura was one of the chiefs. I call it my Fab 5 friends, who are very powerful, very intuitive. And I think it's like regathering that power and reconnecting everybody together. It is frequency. Everything is frequency. And so I have a friend of mine that's a shaman. And there was a car, I live right next to a mortuary. And all of a sudden it's like the car appeared when I was pulling out. And I go, what's going on? They said, your frequency was different than theirs, so you did not see them. If you have a different frequency, like a radio dial, people will not hear you. Because we're all frequency, we're all vibration, we're all sound, but some are lower. I'll get a stomachache if I walk up to people, or I'll walk away from people because that energy is negative, and my body is already sensed and stored it and decided to move on from them. Right. Right. It's just, there's certain people you'll connect with, like Laura and I connected right away. We were at the same frequency, or we've been on this journey together. Some people I outgrew, some people I had to let go because I didn't match their energy anymore. So you can't take their reality personally because it's not part of you. Oh yeah, you'll get stomach aches, you'll get headaches. There's times it's like what I've learned about myself, because I've been continually working on myself for the last 40 years, is if I see somebody and I don't start talking, my body's already accessed the person. And it's like, and then we're like, Laura, I'll start talking to, because your instincts are like, okay, this person's fine. The minute you walk through a door, your energy already says hello even before you say a word. It's already assessed. We're either the hunter or the hunted. And if we look at that energy, I'm in danger, I need to leave. Right. No, your instincts. Right. Our heart chakra goes like up to, I think, 15 feet. So it's almost like a second brain. It already assesses the energy that's going on. So I'll shut down, I won't talk, or I'll walk away. And I'm like, okay, those are my instincts. Or there's energy in wounds. What? As you raise your vibration, they'll affect you less and less. So you got to, it's like a fly, I remember reading a while ago, a fly like on a light. If your vibration is really high, either they won't come near you because they will sense their energy of who they can suck their energy from. So as you raise your vibration with the tones, healing, self-healing, going inward, shadow work, those people will affect you less and less. Yeah, I was product abused by my father. And I had my friend Susie that did tarot readings. She's from El Salvador. When I was doing readings on Telegraph Avenue in Berkeley about 20 years ago. And she told me something where she goes, you put your one outside so their energy will reflect back to it. So I was sitting on the front porch one time, and my dad used to fight find arguments with me on everything. And that's why I had to work through this emotional mental abuse. As a child, I sucked my hair, I sucked my thumb. I internalized a lot of abuse. And what happened is I visualized that son because he was saying I was inside and then outside, then he shut up. So if you just imagine your innocent yellow or orange and put mirrors out, I've done that before. Or you walk into a place like you own the place. They won't know what to do with that. Because they're going to test you. Narcissists will test you. Vampires will test you. How much can I get away with? They're all mirrors of unresolved issues. So as we work through those mirrors or those trigger points of things that are unresolved, that once we work through it, it loses its power. But they're like spirals. It'll be layer upon layer upon layer to the point where it won't make a difference. If we have a trigger, that's something that's unresolved. So what I've had to learn, because I was brought up, I was not allowed to feel. And so they talked about emotion versus feelings. And I read this because I'm constantly reading stuff to do with mind, body, and soul. Emotions are our first trigger things. Like all of a sudden we might want to hit somebody. The feelings are deep emotions that are suppressed. We say we're fine. That's why we get diseases. So a lot of times I have to work through different situations where my body would shake and own it and release it and thank it and move it on. When we have resistance to it, then that's when our body gets more and more diseases. Right there? Is that better? Okay. Right. Yeah, you feel it. I read a book, it's called The Stroke of Insight, and it's by a brain surgeon, a brain scientist. And she had a stroke on the left side of her brain where she couldn't talk. So she learned a lot, and one of the things she was saying is she would walk into the nurses and she could feel who were the negative ones and who were the positive ones. So in the end, she had to start from the very beginning of not being able to talk to the point where she ended up writing the book. And in it, she said you pull it out, like you pretend like there's different energies, emotions that are in a play yard, and you burn them. One of the things that Elohim, when they channeled to Abby, is I said, okay, so we cut the cords. They said, no, you don't cut the cords, you burn the cords. Because those psychic cords can grow back. But if you burn it, like a lot of times when I work on myself, like it shakes. And it's almost like my body, like a computer, is revamping. A lot of times they've had studies with Alzheimer's. It's because Dr. Ross says that the neurons are fried. So we have to reboot ourselves a lot. A lot of times I'll go home and I'll shut everything down and let everything recharge. Like right now I'm feeling a block on your lower back because I'm triggering, so I'm going to hit a tone to help release that inner child. A lot of times with the tones I do, they're not linear. They'll be past lives. They'll be inner child. They'll be post-traumatic. There'll be different things that at that point in your life is working through to release. So it's almost like an emotional weight loss. Like you go to the gym and you're overweight. This is releasing our energy has weight to it. Like some people have kind of a peak pin aura. And so this releases us so we get lighter and more balanced. Yeah. Carbon energy. Right. Right. It's like, right. Everything is like, the more we expand, when we're here, we contract. When we're in love, we expand. And so a lot of times our body is like the negative. It's like one of the people I met on Arena, because now I have all these professional friends like Laura, and one of them was a psychologist on Arena, and she's still a really good friend of mine in England. And she goes, Marci, I didn't know that you were abused. I said, because I work on it every day. And if there's stuff that's unresolved, they're going to mirror back to us that we trigger as far as what's going on. You know, Laura being an investigator, she asked me questions like an investigator. Because I work on myself. Because a trigger, it only takes, when I learned about the stroke of insight, she said it takes 90 seconds to feel those emotions. Once it's past 90 seconds, then we're stuck in those loops. And we have to burn those loops. Like, I would talk to my son, and I was talking about my daughter. He goes, Mom, you're getting too wound up. I'm like, okay, I gotta step back. So people sometimes thrive on that negativity and that shame and that guilt because they don't know anything different. Oh, I was very angry. You know, it was like, I took a course where you do like different exercises for a weekend. And I noticed, like, because my mom would run to the door, and that's why I wrote my book, Watching the Wizards, because my mom was kind of like the wizard at the door. And she would train me. And that's what happens with empaths, or they're trained to give in to people. And so people say hi and have a tone of voice like, well, what do you want to know that for? Because it was a defense. 7% of communication is verbal. There's eye contact, there's energy, there's aura, there's all these different things. I tell people sometimes they put the gas and the brake at the same time. It's like, hi, how are you doing? What do you want to know that for? But they think that they're doing fine. So there's all these subtle energies and messages that we're sending out and that they're sending out, and then people are reacting. When we react to something, it's for the past. When we respond to something, it's from stuff we work through. Like right now, it's like your first or your second chakra. Well, those are the things we've had to do to survive, Laura. Those are our basic needs. Our love, our care, our sex. our energy, whatever's going on. And so there's a lot of inner child. I read, there's a really good book called The Inner Child Workbook, and I was telling Laura about this. And it's an actual workbook from 0 months up until 18 to do different exercises. And we need to work through those, draw them out, write them out, scream them out. You know, I know. So the masters are coming through, they want to do a tone. Because one of the things I was doing with my friend Ravinda was a tarot reader, and then I was calling it the tarot, tones and tarot, where we were doing the reading and then we would do the tones along with the reading, because they would surface as we were talking. That was Kuan Yin. I channeled Buddha. As you raise your vibrations, you get higher and higher guides like a teacher. They don't like dealing with dense energy, so as you raise your vibrations, you will get the masters. See? Well, that's in the serotonin part of the brain. That's why people go onto my YouTube, because they'll listen to it. And the minimum 110 hertz. But the higher the hertz is, I had it one time where I was on a arena and I had sand and water in my room. And I had sand and water in the living room. And I looked at it, the sand and the water, they say the sand will make patterns. And the more intricate the sound, the more intricate the patterns. So there were these wavy lines with the sand. Then I moved the sand, and then the wavy lines happened again. Everything is a frequency. Mountains, sounds, dogs, animals. You just got to tune into those frequencies. Oh yeah, that's where I learned it. I have the book. Right. Right. But if it's negative, right. Right. And my room, as Laura knows, it's set up as a circle with I have crystals, I have water, I have mirrors, I have reflections. And so all of this stuff is almost like my room is like a sound healing room, because everything is moving back with the crystals. It's like one of the things I have is my staff. Well, I was at the thrift store and these elderly people make stuff, and he had a compass on top of it. I took the compass off and I glued the crystal on. You know, it just passed by. Like your lower energy is cracking open now, Laura. Doesn't matter. And the brain development, they have been doing sound healing for thousands of years. They have in India this almost like carousel of different stones that we're making, and they hit it in different sounds. In Malta, you go down to 110 hertz into the earth. They have them that are around. It's just Rockefeller started stuff in the 30s. Laura and I were talking about this before, where he was doing the oil, and then he moved over to medicine. And then he started this whole pills, kind of like a bandage on the things. But if you look at the Native Americans, you look at all the ancient energies and countries, they have been doing sound for thousands of years. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like somebody said that I built like a crystal pyramid, but I think it's an Atlantic Ocean. And they said I was really particular about corners. Everything is sound. Walls have memories. I'll walk into certain places and I can't walk into it because I'll feel the negative energy. Everything has memory to it. Hi, Quincy. Have I? Yeah, they are around. There are many, many ETs, and they do contact us. Sometimes it's visual, sometimes it's healing, sometimes it's vibration. But they choose what they're going to do. But again, it's a vibration. If you have a low energy, so if you have a high vibration, they are contacting you. Or you have spirit guides. I had my car teleported one time driving from Colorado to California. And the car, all of a sudden we saw Wyoming such and such miles. We were like 3 hours behind. They do contact me, they are around. This is what I'm supposed to do. And with a high frequency, they're here to help us. Well, the Greys are from what Bashar said, because Laura and I go to Bashar a lot. They're an offset of us. The hybrid or a higher vibration, they started bringing the ETs around 1940, right after World War II, because they saw the destruction of the earth. So they're bringing them out in to help us rebalance the earth and ourselves. They're assigned for different things, like the Andromedans. They really blow up the atomic bombs. The Arcturians are here to help. There's a plethora of different aliens that are around us. They choose who they're going to contact. My friend Richard, he would pick up, oh, Marci, you've got this one in this room. You've got this one. This is what I'm supposed to do. I've been a healer in many lifetimes, especially when I was a little gray cloud. And I've been told who I am, what I am, where I'm come from, and this is what I'm supposed to do. So I think I go one way, they guide me a completely different direction because this is, where I'm supposed to go. So if you find things suddenly changing, they're helping your course. There's many of them. Some don't give names. There's Elohim. There's Metatron. It was like Metatron contacted me. There's many messages and many energies that are around. So they're assigned for different things. They have different spaceships. They have different energies, but they're all working together. The whole thing with Star Trek started Gene Roddenberry, and I think that Koreans were with Eisenhower. And that started the whole, like, Spock was supposed to be kind of like an ambassador that they had. So Star Trek, The Next Generation, Star Trek, they were given the messages of how it is. How old is Quincy? How old is Quincy? Hello. Well, okay, they have like I'm a Blu-ray. The Blu-ray started from '64. Right after the thing, they have indigos. They have my son's 25. He's a rainbow. They have the indigo, the rainbow. A lot of times, we think that 88 children, they're actually indigo children because they're very aware. So the different generations are being born right now for what's going on with the earth. Probably indigo. You got to look at the age thing. They'll tell you. The Blu-rays are the first one that came, and I think the indigos were next. So they have the different categories for the years that you're born. Right. They're extremely advanced. And that's what's sad about the school system, because the school system was made up around the 1900s to bring in farm workers to be trained to be factory workers. So kids these days, they're bored. They are so much more advanced. And I guess I was advanced because I fell asleep in school. So the education system is they want us to be educated to a certain point, but not too educated with the government. I'm glad. I don't know who. Oh, the Dracos. There's again negative and positive ones. I channel the dragons. I have pulled out reptilians out of people. You know, some of them are in deep, some of it's genetic. It was like I had got like this big dragon at a gift shop at a casino I went to. And Elohim said, "Oh, that dragon is protected from the other dragon." I have a golden dragon. Some are like positive. But as you raise your vibration, or you work through whatever your issues are, your dark shadow, you've got to work on your dark shadow self, face it, and release it. And then, so there's negative and positive, but as you raise your vibrations, they're not going to affect you. Right. 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 There's somebody I worked on for like 5 years, and she was from Iran, and her name was Roya. And Roya was dropped off in the United States when she was like 17, right when the Iran government was taken over. I worked on it for 5 years. I pulled out past lives. I pulled out dark spirits. Curses, spells. That's how I learned to pull a lot of this stuff out. Because a lot of times, if we have a lower energy or fear, that's when they're able to feed off of us. So the more fear we have, the more they're going to connect with us. Right. Right. And you find out if you interact with a negative person and you lower your vibration, negative things start happening. So it's best to just stay distance away from the negative people because their energy affects you also. There's a difference between a sponge and a channel. The sponge is like energy, people absorb stuff, and it's other people's energy or negativity. I'm a sponge. I'll take the energy and I'll push it out. Laura's kind of like my meter. She'll tell me, Marci, you're doing better. You're feeling happier. I said, yeah, I just work on this energy, or I work on that energy. So it's really a lot of like owning that energy and releasing it.
Okay, so Quincy has a follow-up comment. What a surprise. We love you, Quincy. Quincy says his spiritual master told him about the heaven's dragons. They killed a battle at home a couple years ago.
Okay.
Quincy, is that in referred to Quincy? Because Quincy wrote some of that in it too.
Well, there are many dimensions. There are mermaids. They do sirens, the sounds. I do the sirens. There are fairies. There are dragons. There are different interdimensional energies that are around. And they will decide what their contact, whether visually, mentally, emotionally, psychically. They're around me all the time.
It's hard to hear me, Quincy, me or Marci? Trying to ask them.
One of the things Ellie told me is the religious man-made, but they said that we test you. If you pass these tests, we give you opportunities. It's like school.
So if you pass the test, then your higher self will give you another one to see if you're able to do it. Yeah, or guide will, which is kind of a form of your higher self, will give you another test.
Well, as you get higher and higher on your release, sometimes we have things taken away so we get back into our essence of who we are.
My phone keeps dropping. Sorry.
How's Quincy's hearing? Was it you or me?
What's that?
Oh, he was saying he was having a hard time hearing.
Yeah, that's what I asked him. Were you having a hard time hearing, Quincy? You're on Facebook. Michael went and jumped over to YouTube and said he can hear better. So it might just be Facebook. Let's see what he says. He responds.
They want me to hit another one. I think what's going on is, as I'm saying things, it's triggering things with different people, and then that's helping releasing whatever is surfacing. So they sense it, and then they want to do the tones.
Okay, is this going to benefit us in a group as we are now and the people that
Is anybody feeling lighter, more at peace? Everything has to do with balance. Your head is kind of Laura.
I had some energy release from my crown chakra.
I'm watching it.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
What was that?
It's opening your third eye. Everything's activated.
That's amazing.
Also, it's like, it only takes a couple of seconds and then we'll do the tones. And then people go off in the cosmos or the guides come to them. What?
Guess who says he feels pretty good right now?
Who feels really good right now?
Quincy. He said
Oh,
in the
good.
comments he feels pretty good, and he was listening to your tones.
I gotta do some low ones, which is more the lower chakra ones. I don't know if it's hearing it from Laura or somebody else, but I'm hearing a screaming release.
You heard screaming?
Yeah, I usually do that when I've done Reiki shows.
I saw a vortex with rippling waves when you did that one.
Everything is a wave, everything a vortex. And that's what Christ has to do with. That's what he was talking about, the kingdom within ourselves. Read it, Laura.
How many decibels does your tone go? Because you can go really low, like I just did, like a monkey chanting, and then you can go really high, like I can't even go
Right.
high.
Well, as I'm continually working on my blocked energies, my voices are getting higher and higher and lower and lower.
So your range is growing as your frequency grows.
My energy.
Your energy grows. Yeah.
Well, you've seen me through the years.
I have, and your range has grown. It used to mainly do the high ones, and then I think it was a little more challenging back then for you to do the low ones. But now you kind of do both with ease in between high and low, which I'm amazed by.
Right. It goes into the inner earth, or it goes up into the cosmos.
Wow.
And this is what I'm supposed to do.
And how long ago did you start doing tones? I guess at what age did you realize that it I guess, came out of you?
Like I said, it was like, I have my friend Steve, that's a Native American. And I stopped in front of him because he was doing readings, I wasn't. And I go, I'm supposed to get a reading from you. And so what he told me, he goes, the brothers are waiting for you. And I go, oh, the Native brothers or the Great White Brotherhood? 2 months later, I got hired on a radar. So that was about 10 years ago. I have to look at what, my son's 25 now, I think he was 15. How old were you when I met? Was Travis like 17 or 18?
Yeah, well, Zane is almost 8, and he was 2. So that was 6 years ago.
Okay. It's been quite a journey with us. So through that, it's been so many different processes, and that's where I wrote my book, Data, which is tones, healing, energy, tarot, and ascension. And I wrote We're Off to Be the Wizards. And the energy of it is the different people that I met, the different journeys, all of us came together as to our experiences that are going on. And then that's when I met Laura, because Laura read my book.
Oh, your phone is going off. Well, we got about 5 minutes left until we hit an hour. Whatever you want to do with those 5 minutes. If you want to do more tones, if you just want to talk, or whatever comes
well,
up.
If anybody wants to Facebook me or LinkedIn me, it's like under Marci Kosich. You know, you'll see a picture of my town drawing my walls. But it's been 40 years. And so that's why I get really skeptical. Laura's like, going to these readers, I'm going, most of those readers, they don't know what to do with me.
I've never seen another reader that does tones like you, so I understand why.
Oh, I said, can anybody do what I do? And they said, yes. I said, does anybody do what I do? And they said, no.
No, they don't. They're right. Your
And
tones are very unique. I mean, each of our frequencies are unique, but you intrinsically, as a reader and a spiritual type, I haven't seen anyone do the tones like you do.
nobody can do what I can do. That's why it's like most readers, I don't match them, so I can't connect with them. Somebody would say, Daniel did the tones on me when I was 25, and he was like a quadruple Scorpio. He goes, you'll walk in a room and you'll talk to one person and that's it. Other people, I've literally walked away. I've sensed their energy. So you've got to go on your instincts. Is this person giving me a stomachache? Is this person giving me a headache? Am I connecting with this person? I'll say if that is true, and if they're not connecting, then I walk away.
Is that why the saying goes, go with your gut? Because if I get a stomach ache when I'm around you, I'm not going with my gut.
Right. The serotonin's in your gut, and that's when you're feeling at peace. Your gut's a brain, your heart's a brain, and your brain's a brain.
That's true.
And
We
your
have
cells
neurons and all of them.
communicate and talk to each other.
Yeah, that's right. One of my inner medicine doctors, she told me, your gut has more neurons than your brain does. So your gut health and your microbes and your guts are eating junk, and they're not feeding their microbiome and all those neurons, which is even more than their brain.
Well, they also suppress a lot of their emotions, mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically. I'm fine, and then they push it down. It's an emotional weight. The more we push down those weights, the more heavier we get.
That's right. That makes sense.
That's the thesis. So the more, it's like when I release the carbon energies, more oxygen is coming into the body. They had a study where this guy had cancer. They took blood out. They put oxygen in there. And then the cancer disappeared. So I think of it like a dead root. It's like the more we suppress, the less oxygen, the more we get diseases, dis-ease.
So going into the new year, there's a lot of pressure with the holidays and, with the families and visiting and traveling. Is there any advice that you or your guides or where the tones are coming from have any advice to help people that listen to this?
Well, because I was brought up emotionally abused, my therapist when I was like 30 said, stay away from your family. Unfortunately, I got locked into it. And I've had to work through it. If there's a trigger, you got to feel it, work it through so they don't take your power away. The whole thing is like, if you got a certain feeling, you got to go to yourself. That's not my belief system. Other people's belief system goes into ourselves, and then that's where we get off balance. So the more we release it, saying that's not my belief system, or I'm releasing this, or I'm going to yell or scream or write it out, then they can't affect us as much.
Quincy said good advice. For me, it sounds like you're describing reprogramming yourself to yourself, right?
You have to. Those neurons have to be reprogrammed. Rewiring like a computer.
That's
I
right.
took those walls out like I said, that book that I read, The Stroke of Insight, The Brain Scientist. You go in the play yard and you pull out those cords. Or we have such connections with people. So you see that person face to face, and like I said, Elohim says you don't burn the cord, cut the cords, you burn them. So you visualize the cords and the connections we have with that other person from head to toe and then back to toe to head, either way. We burn those cords so they don't affect our energy.
How do we burn the cords? Just by sheer intention?
Visualize the person in front of you. See if there's any cords or connections. Like strings. The thick strings are like the strong connections. The thin ones are like the ones we just met. We all have psychic cords and connections. That way you
Marci,
disassociate that energy or compartmentalize.
we're at an hour now, Marci. If there's anything
I
else
know.
you want to add, or if you want to go a little bit longer, it's up to you.
It's all up to you guys. I'm fine. I'm sitting here.
Well, we always want more tones, so if your voice is up to it, maybe we can do some tones and then close out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did want to say that the men that I know, they love the tones. I have my friend's husband, he's Native American. Another friend of mine's boyfriend's a biker. It's like, it helps the men feel relaxed. They can feel these emotions, and it's non-linear. So your inner child may come out, your past lives.
That's amazing. Thank you, Quincy. Have a good night at work. And Quincy says he's going to go to work and he'll check out your work later, Marci, and thank you.
Yeah, anytime. This is what I meant to do. Like I said, my YouTube under Marci Kosich, MarciKosich. I have about maybe 20 years, I think, of tones. And then the tonography of my passion for photography combining with tones.
That's right. Marci has...
And my LinkedIn.
Yeah, and Marci's an author as well. I've read her Theta book. It's on Amazon. I didn't read her other books, but her Theta book is...
Rocky Wizards, Astrum, Ex Libris. I'm not sure if any of the money goes to me because I got hacked when another person I did a radio show with. Somebody hacked him, and I made a mistake, and so I'm not sure if I get into it. But if you can read my book, it's a lot of different people's experiences through the years. A lot of professionals that were clients are now good friends of mine, including Laura.
Well, Marci, I love you very much. You
I love
are
you
a good
too,
soul
sister.
sister and friend. And I'm going to close it out, and we'll say bye for now and bring you back sometime in the new year, or after the new year, rather.
Anytime you guys want me, I'm here. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Yes, you are.
I did a radio show with somebody, and she told me I coached too much, but I think it was jealousy.
There's no such thing as coaching too much. We're here to help
What?
others. And there's no such thing as coaching too much. We're here to help others grow as well.
Well, I would say stuff, and then she's like, I don't know that, and she started studying it and then read out of a book, and then I do my tones, she'd bring her pistol with her. So, whatever.
Yeah, let them drink their haterade without us. Oh,
All right.
All right, have a good night, everyone.
I'll talk
We'll
to
see
you
you
all.
next time. Bye.